This is the stage door of the Hackney Empire, which is one of the last of the great variety theaters in the London area. Here in this beautiful theater, right across the way here, have appeared all the great variety stars, Dan Leno and Mary Lloyd and Bransby Williams. I don't know how many other great artists. Do you remember those people, ladies? Yes, I don't. You do?
Yes, when she was a girl.
You've seen them, yes. And we've been shooting a film across there. Before that, I rehearsed a play in this theater and got to know it that way and got to know these ladies who live in this lovely old house. And I'd like you to read this sign. It's right across here. It took my attention, and I'd like to show it to you. Out of the pious intention of William Spurstow, D.D., deceased, formerly vicar of this parish of Hackney, these 6 almshouses were erected and built Anno Domini 1666 for the habitations and dwellings of 6 poor widows of this parish of good life and conversation, who died before he made a settlement upon the said almshouses, and after his decease, Henry Spurstow, late of London, Esquire, brother to the said doctor, to perfect and establish the doctor's good work Anno Domini 1667, settle forever certain lands in the said parish on several trustees for the said 6 poor widows' better support and maintenance, and for no other persons whatsoever, in testimony whereof Henry Spurstow of London, gentleman, son of the said Henry, hath erected this inscription Anno Domini 1689, rebuilt 1819. That means that these handsome group of houses, it's one house with several, getting a little heckling in the back. There's a pub across the street there, and that angry voice you hear is a client. What are you laughing about? What are you laughing? Here are the ladies. Here are the ladies. We've become good friends. Here are the 6 poor widows in question of this particular Anno Domini. And some widows they are, too. Just look at them. You must stop flirting with me. I'd like you to meet some of these people. I'm going to take the camera over here for a minute, if I may. How long have you been living here?
2 years.
That's right. You're the one that's all this time.
I've been here the longest.
You've been here the longest.
22 years.
22 years is you, and you're...
2 years.
You're the juvenile, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you just arrived. And you're just visiting, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you're just a visitor.
And she's dead. She can't.
Yes. And which house do you live in?
Me? I live in
Yes,
the first one.
you live in the first
I live in
one.
the second.
Yes.
That one.
And what do you...
That one, this one.
That's one.
Yes. No, that one.
That's right.
Yes.
And what do you do? Now tell me, you tell me that
What
you
do you
sometimes
do,
go in the
Faith?
garden and
What do I
dance.
do?
What else
You
do
go
you
in
do
the
with your
garden
time?
sometimes.
Oh, yes,
No.
I find.
Not her.
I find plenty to do.
What do you do?
Oh, sewing and needlework.
You do that?
Yes, make nice little things with the bazaars and...
And you cook?
Oh, rather.
Yes. You all cook, don't you?
Yeah.
You all do your own
Yes,
cooking.
yes.
Do you ever cook for each other?
Yes.
No.
No, you all do cook your own meals. You never cook a meal for the other one.
No.
Never invite the other one over to have a meal.
No.
Never?
Never. Asked me to just cup of tea.
Just for a cup of tea, but never for a meal. You each go home to your own little house and have your own meal.
Yeah.
Nobody ever invites anybody else for dinner.
No.
Now, why is that?
Can't afford it.
Can't afford it? Well, if one of you invited you one night and one the other, wouldn't it add up to the same thing?
Well, we go out more than that.
What?
We go out more.
You go out more?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Where do you go?
Where we can get.
Where you can get. And where do you get?
In the Empire Pictures.
Empire Pictures.
Anywhere we like to have a little pleasure.
A little pleasure, hmm?
That's the only thing we live for.
Live for pleasure. You just live for pleasure. Is that true of you,
Be kind
too?
to other people.
What?
And be kind to other people.
And be kind to other people. Wonderful.
That's what we want to be. Kind to one another.
Is that your attitude?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the way you feel about it?
Yes.
Of course, you're a very busy one with your needlework, aren't
Yes,
you?
oh, yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's right.
So you don't just live for pleasure, you're busy doing your sewing.
Work.
Yeah, that's right.
It is true.
I belong to the British Legion,
You do?
and I'm an unrepentant old Tory,
An unrepentant old Tory.
and I belong to the Conservative Association.
I see.
And
Now,
I
what
was
is...
divisional chairman of the women's section for 17 years.
Were you indeed? Now, are
I'm
they...
now
are they...
retired in disgust.
You retired in disgust. I see. Well, now, tell me, are all you ladies of the same political persuasion? Are you a Tory, too?
Oh, we're all true blues.
All Tories.
Yeah. All Tories.
It's a Tory stronghold, in other words.
Yes, rather.
You two?
I don't know what I am.
You don't know what you are.
You fibber, you are a Tory.
Well, anyway, she likes to dance back in the garden, whether she's a Tory or not. She told me. All right. Now, how about this sign up here? Is that true, what it says?
Yes.
It's true. What is the story of the place? Could you tell it to me?
Oh, it's brothers. It belongs to his brothers.
Belong to brothers.
Yeah, and it's put in a trust as far as I know.
Put into a trust.
Yeah. Like, 1663.
Yes, for widows, of good character and good conversation, it says.
Yes.
Now, do you figure you have good conversation?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. At times.
At times. All right.
I don't want my name pulled out.
All right, we won't tell your name.
Clemson.
We won't tell anybody unless you want it. What do you think I'm going to do?
Secret.
What's the secret?
Cut that out.
Cut what out? I understood you to tell me that you were related to some cinema people.
I am, I believe.
Who are you related to?
Warner Brothers, I believe.
The Warner Brothers. Are you indeed?
I believe so.
I didn't know that they came from England originally.
No, they got rid of them many years ago.
Is that a fact?
As far as I can hear.
Yes. Have you never written to any of the Warner Brothers about it, though? Well, if I ever see one of
Give my
them,
love to them.
I'll give your love to them. I certainly will do that. Well, I'll bring Jack Warner up here to say hello to you sometime.
That's right.
Right.
Call him John, not Jack.
All right, I'll call him John. And who would he be? Would he be your nephew, do you think, or your cousin?
Oh, he'd be a second cousin, I should think.
A second cousin.
Must be.
Cousin John. Cousin John Warner. Well, good. Tell me something. Do you find it lonely living all by yourself in one?
No, I'm used to it.
You're used to it. You
Yeah,
like it.
I'm used to it.
Yes.
Been over 60
And then you
years.
chat with your neighbors.
Oh, yes, we have a dance around out the back.
You have a what?
Me and her have a dance out the back now and again.
A dance out in the back.
No, we can cock our legs up.
You. What else do you do? You play cards?
No?
You play cards? What else
No,
do
we
you do?
don't play cards.
No.
No.
You prefer to dance.
That's what.
Well, good enough. I must come back there and see you do it sometime. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You know, I used to have quite an extraordinary number of great aunts. Well, maybe number isn't the best phrase for it. We speak of droves and herds and schools of fish and a pack of wolves and a gaggle of geese and a pride of lions. It's a wonderful expression, a pride of lions. And a rumination of cows. That's actually the expression. It's a herd of cattle and a rumination of cows and a murmuration of swallows. Or is it a surprise of swallows? Sure, I don't know. And I'm certain I don't know how to describe a plurality of great aunts. An eccentricity of great aunts, maybe. Well, certainly mine were numerous and a trifle on the eccentric side. And there was one of them, this is why I'm bringing this up, who was always described in our family as growing old gracefully. Now, that isn't to say that the other great aunts were positively ungainly in the business of bearing the burden of their years, but this one, everybody agreed, grew old gracefully. Well, it just happened that she was the one with the most money. I think that's pretty obvious. I won't labor the point. It's clearly much easier to be graceful about being aged if there's a little something put away in the sock. Because, of course, growing old is no joke. It's not only the loss of youth and vigor, but the loss of friends and loved ones. In all too many cases, the loss of ordinary human companionship. To be old and indigent is not just an economic problem. It can be a tragedy in human terms, a tragedy of loneliness. Now, it's true that there's bound to be companionship of a kind in even the most crowded state institutions for the aged, but all too often there's another sort of loss involved. A loss of dignity, a loss of the sense of individuality. And that's why I admire, and I think British people should be so proud of the institutions such as this almshouse we've been visiting, where the 6 poor widows of Hackney are certainly maintaining their individuality with a vengeance. And now we're going to take our cameras over to another part of London to visit some more old folks, but gentlemen, old soldiers. Yes, we're going over to Chelsea to pay a call on those doughty old soldier men in scarlet tunics, the Chelsea pensioners. Well, we've brought our cameras now into the Royal Hospital at Chelsea. This is, of course, an old soldier's home. I guess it's the oldest old soldier's home, certainly the most famous. I think the nicest. Well, some of the men have been here a long time, of course. Here's retired Sergeant Ingram and in-pensioner Page. How long have you been here, sir?
18 months.
18 months? Well, you're just a recruit. How about you, sir?
I've been here 15 years.
15 years. You like it here?
Yes, very nice here, very nice indeed.
Now, tell me about these uniforms. I noticed one over there that seems to include a tricornered hat or something.
Oh, that's a cocked hat.
Cocked hat. Well, that's the dress uniform. And what you're wearing, sir, correct me if I'm wrong, is the uniform worn in the hospital when you don't go out into the town. Is that right?
Well, mostly, yes, in the hospital.
Now, tell us about these uniforms you're wearing. Who designed them?
Going to be on me.
It's always been the dress.
Always, it's always been the dress. Oh, King Charles, he designed it, I expect.
Over 260 years now.
And we see that handsome uniform all over the town, don't we, sir? You go just about everywhere.
Go all around, see the change of the guard, or
Yes.
any of the, all over London.
Yes, it's very
Jump on the bus, you can go to Buckingham Palace and see the guard change.
Guard changing, and
Any functions?
especially in the summertime, with your red coats, you see, and people like to get interested in it,
Yeah.
chat.
And you find that the uniform helps you to make friends. Well, we've heard of uniforms being used to dazzle the ladies and impress foreign powers and frighten the enemy. This is a use for a uniform that's new to me. Making friends. Well, you know, when we think of the classic proclivity of soldiers everywhere, of all ages, to gripe and complain, I think it's very impressive to find all these old soldier men living together in so much evident happiness and contentment. You, sir, isn't there anything at all about life here in the Royal Hospital that you don't approve of?
Oh. I don't want to get shot, mister.
I wonder if Sergeant Pansford could tell us roughly how many people are in the hospital.
Oh, I have to corroborate what the colour sergeant said, sir.
How many was that?
430, was it?
50, I said.
450.
About 450.
Yes, sir.
And all able-bodied.
Well,
No.
not all. No,
Not
no.
able-bodied, but they're able to look after themselves.
Yes, and would you define the difference, Color Sergeant Deborah?
Well, if when they get about 90, they go sick, they go on a sick report into the doctor.
Yeah.
He decides that they go into the infirmary.
When they get around 90, when you make that sound a long way off, Color Sergeant Deborah, how old are you?
85.
Well, it doesn't seem to me you'll be on a sick list for a long time. Now, you were telling us about that bombing. You were bombed.
So severely and so many casualties that they decided they would shift the pensioners.
Yes.
So they
Where were they going to ship them?
I don't know really, but way up.
Somewhere way up in the
North
north.
Wales, I believe. Of course, we had a V bomb hit the infirmary. That wiped it right out.
Really?
The V bomb, the big one.
Thank you, Bill.
That wiped it right out.
Where's my best respects?
My best respects to you.
Cheerio.
Now tell us, what happened when they wanted to move you?
Just nothing. When they were told to turn up with the kids, nobody had packed up.
Nobody had packed this morning. Just refused to go.
Didn't refuse to go, but they wasn't ready.
That's wonderful.
Oh,
Nobody was ready.
Was it a question that wasn't ready or late on parade, Colonel Sergeant?
Maybe. Very late on parade.
It was decided then not to ship them.
And then how was the decision made not to ship them
I
out?
believe, I couldn't tell you really, but it,
Yeah.
it had to go to His Majesty because it's his hospital.
Yes, that's true. It is, isn't
We're
it? Yes.
directly under the aegis of Her Majesty the Queen.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So
That's
that
why,
decision would have
Mr.
to be
Wells,
made in that department.
If an in-pensioner misbehaves himself out in town here, he's brought back to the hospital and the police will take nothing to do with him. Pick up.
Is that so?
Tried in the hospital.
Tried in the hospital in a sort of court-martial.
Well, in a miniature state.
We got 2 guard rooms.
What's that?
We got 2 guard rooms.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
One's been bombed.
Sometimes have to bring their blankets down to them, you know.
Why?
Drunken fight.
Well, they couldn't expect them to sleep without a blanket.
How often are they filled up?
Oh, no, baby.
Not much, not much.
No, no, they're all a jolly
Well,
good
the
crowd.
guy-
A good crowd.
Yes, take them all and all.
We had a guile in the guard room and he escaped twice.
What's that?
And a guile, my own regiment.
Yeah, from your own
And
regiment.
he escaped twice out the guard room.
Escaped twice. Where'd he go?
Quinn. He went to the canteen. They got him in the canteen again.
Brought him back
Our own
again.
canteen.
Didn't go very far. Anyway.
No.
But a policeman doesn't.
They don't want
arrest.
anything to do with us.
Yes.
No. For
They
instance,
just take
no.
you in custody and bring you back. Is
I'll
that
tell you
the
a
case?
curious thing that happened in there. A man was brought up for stabbing.
Stabbing.
Yes. Wounded a man. He was tried in the hospital.
Tried in the hospital. That's very interesting because, of course, you're not under the ordinary laws of the country, are you? You're particular wards of Her Majesty.
Yes.
Yes.
We're under governmental decision, you see.
Yes.
Under governmental decision.
Yes. And you were explaining to me before that all the ranks that I see on your sleeves are from your real service before you were pensioners, and that you enter, excuse me for repeating this, but I want
That's right.
that you enter as an equivalent of a private first class.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So it's your present title, your present rank of color sergeant, sergeant, and sergeant, you won in the hospice.
Yes. Right.
You went to the hospital to recruit that hasn't got his number yet.
Really?
Yeah. And you've got to be in the hospice a long time before your number is dry, too. My number isn't dry yet.
By dry, what do you mean by that?
Oh, Billy, you tell
Come
you.
on, tell us.
It's an old saying in the army,
Is it?
when you enlist, you know, in the right
Yes.
army, your number's not dry yet. You know, if you only
yes,
Number they put on
6 months
on
service
Yeah,
or so.
yeah.
You have so little service
I
that the
see.
paint
It
is not
isn't
dry
dry
yet.
on
It isn't
there.
dry.
That's a very, very old one.
That's right, believe me.
So get hold on the expression.
So
Yeah.
last week I got 2 recruits to my company. One was 82 and the other was 80.
In your company.
Yes, 2 recruits.
Just breaking him in now.
And in the service,
They got to be broke in. They've been in the service, they've been away for 30, 40 years.
I
Nobody
suppose
knows
they
what
really
they've been
do,
doing.
don't they? Yeah.
And they come to you, they get a nice clean berth and good clothes and uniform
Yes.
and all that.
That's a
colour
jolly
sergeant-
nice uniform,
That's
too.
the colour sergeant's job then.
thanks, sir. I
Come
thought
on,
of
that
standing,
won't
I'd
do.
salute, but I can't salute when I'm sitting.
There's only regular soldiers up there, you know. Only regular soldiers.
I see.
Now, people don't quite realize that. There's only the old regular soldiers.
I don't think they do understand that, no.
There's only up
Regular...
there, there's only dragoons and guiles
Yes,
and hussars,
yes, that's right.
lancers. And if there's anybody
Professional soldier man,
If
yeah.
there's anybody been wounded up there, it's been with a Zulu assegai or something like that. Not an atom bomb.
Yes, we've come. What have we come from? The colours, not the bow and arrow, have we? We come from the assegai period, haven't we?
The Assegai
Yes,
period.
we come.
You
right,
faced him.
battle
haven't
axe.
you must have up on the northwest frontier.
Oh, the
seen
battle
not
axe.
Assegai, but you've seen cavalry fighting, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
The battle axe is Bobby Bruce at Stirling Castle, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
You know, there's something about the Chelsea Hospital that I believe our viewers may not realize, most of them. It's
Not a drain at all on the British taxpayer. You give up your pensions, don't you?
Towards our keeping.
Yeah, towards that.
So of course you're
And
not
what is
there
over
as
to make
free
that up
charges at all.
is supplied by
Benefactors.
the benefactors who have left money 250 years ago.
Some of that money still
Oh,
operates.
legacies.
From Nell Gwyn on.
Yeah, from now on.
All the names are up. Oh, yes. And all the kings and queens, they've all left money.
And don't forget, Mr. Wells, taking it in the aggregate, those that give up their pensions, the pension really doesn't keep you.
Well, certainly, you enjoy human privileges and a position of dignity in the Royal Hospital that no pension could buy. There's one thing I've wondered about. Living together as you do, so many of you, don't you miss privacy? Do you really have privacy?
Oh, absolute. Oh, absolute.
You do?
Oh,
Now,
What do you mean, do we have any privacy?
how can you find privacy in a place like this where you're all living together? Don't you miss being by yourself? You have your birds.
yes, of course we do.
There's sides on them. It's all to yourself.
You got large ones and you got small ones.
And you can close the door and be by yourself.
In my birth, I've got a table, electric lamp. I've got 3 chairs. I've got a chest of drawers. I've got a locker. I've got a tall boy.
And you can close the door and be by yourself.
And you can lock it.
And you can lock the door.
Lock the door, boy.
Nobody must come
Can
in.
you lock the door?
Nobody's allowed to come in
No.
without knocking.
No.
That's wonderful.
No.
Well, that's
If
a
you're on
unique
leave,
thing, you
if
know.
you're on leave or in hospital,
Yes.
your kitten, etc., is looked after by the colour sergeant,
Yes.
even although you're in hospital for 2 years.
I see. Color sergeant, that's what you are, as a matter of
Yes,
fact.
yes.
How many are in your company?
6 colour sergeants.
6, I mean, in your company.
About 75.
Yeah, 75 in
About
your
that,
company,
yes,
yes. Do you have any trouble with them of any kind?
Regular soldiers,
Yeah.
the usual.
The
grumbling.
usual regular soldier trouble.
That's
Yes.
all.
Grumbling?
That's all.
Just
that.
They're quite harmless. They don't mean
They're
anything.
quite harmless.
Quite harmless. You find that they're about the same as they were in the regular army, only just older?
Just the same.
Same.
As we said in our previous conversation, what you teach a child, it never forgets.
Yes. Good and bad, too.
And indifferent.
And every birth has earful.
Every birth has earphones.
At his bedside.
What for?
Wireless.
For wireless. Oh, very good. And you have the TV as well.
And turn the light out.
You have a room for TV, yes.
Yes.
And if you want to read in bed after lights out, your light is shaded so that it doesn't show in the other berths.
But I think
And
there's
you
a
can
limit,
read
isn't there,
after.
Jonathan?
Beg pardon?
Isn't there a limit, 11 o'clock at night?
No, no limit.
Right.
Only.
I said,
They just say-
Reasonable,
They
yes.
just say, hey, Jock, you don't want to read all night. You know, there's
Now
an
tell
idea
me,
to say that-
how much are you allowed to, for example, to move about in the town, to come here to the pub and have your drink?
You're allowed out till 12 o'clock every night without a pass.
Every day.
12 o'clock every night.
Every night till
Every
12.
night. 12.
Isn't that wonderful?
If you want to stop away, you put a pass in. Well, they want to know where you are.
Yes, of course.
They want to know
For your
where you are.
welfare.
You can go to places if you like. They don't care too much, you know, but they simply want to know where you are in case you get lost.
Yes,
Or run over.
Yes, of course, you know, to see how you
because the
are.
75% of now in the hospice don't stop out till 12 o'clock midnight of a night unless they're on pass. They don't stop out. It's not necessary. They don't feel inclined that way. You see.
Yes.
But it can be done.
Well, that makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Just knowing you can do it.
Here's the thing I'd like to tell you, Mr. Wells.
Yes.
When we die, they look after us then.
Yes.
Still look after us.
Yes.
A man has got no next of kin, he's got nobody on guff. Understand?
Yes.
So, his mourners are a representative from his own regiment, one,
2, isn't it?
and a representative of the hospital,
Hospital.
that's 2.
Yes.
That's all they can do. He's got nobody on earth, so he sent down a representative of his regiment and a representative of the hospital. And the minister,
Yes.
Yes.
we're buried at Brookwood.
Everything in decorum. Everything in decorum.
Yes.
Now then, at Brookwood, there's cenotaph at Brookwood,
Yes, a senator.
as big as the one in Whitehall.
You don't say.
I do say. In fact, I think in some ways it's bigger. Anyway, what I wanted to tell you was this. On one side, it says, to the memory of so many of these soldiers who lie here, who passed the evening of their life in independent retirement. You got that?
And that's a great word, that independence.
Now, that is on...
Isn't it?
That is on the cemetery, who passed the evening of their life in independent retirement. The other side has got another statement to the memory of so-and-so and so-and-so, old soldiers, who never left a foreign country without they left friends behind them. That is on the other side.
The evening of life in independent retirement.